Welcome to QA Q&A. I am your host Shweta, and today we have Santhosh Tuppad, a software tester, blogger, reader, trainer, coach, and right to privacy advocate. He currently works as a freelance software tester and cybersecurity expert at ONDSEC, which stands for Offensive and Defensive Security. He's also the recipient of several Best Speaker awards. Santhosh has been a black hat hacking thinker since his childhood days, and that makes him a better white hat hacker. Having transformed into an ethical hacker, he channels his experience on the dark side to now help companies safeguard their applications and data. Welcome to the show, Santhosh.
Yep, finally. I'm excited. Yeah.
And I'm sure the audiences as well, because there's so much less spoken about security testing and cyber security in general. And with that, I'll come to my first question. What is the industry's notion on security?
Well, there are a lot many beliefs in the industry. So some people say we get a certification and then we are cool, and most of the businesses are that way. They go to some vendor and then they ask for a certificate. They're much more interested in getting the certificate more than how their application was before getting tested. So I see mostly certification infested organizations compared to, because everyone needs money, right? So everyone wants to make money. But I make it very personal to myself. When I do it, I see people behind those computer screens. I don't just say, well, we do this, it's okay. Who is going to do that? Some of the reasons, right? Which we hear in the testing industry, and also the ethical hacking. I think at the foundation level, all the industries, not only in the computer science, but every industry has this problem, starting from your hotel or cafes, or it could be banking industry, it could be software industry, whatever you are going to write for your customers. So this I have been saying for more than a decade now, about this attitude. I don't know where this attitude comes from, though. I think there has to be education to the C-level management as well about why we need to really do the security testing as though someone is breathing down our neck. And then also we need to fix those things that way. Now, what industry thinks is totally different. It sees reports. How many red and how many green? And that in hacking, especially, I think even in testing as well, any kind of testing as well, while showing it as red and while showing it as green, many people, even in the team, some security testers will be like, oh, this is nothing. This is a low hanging fruit. We should not fix this. We can put it into a backlog and then we'll pick it when the time comes back. Well, it can be too late sometimes. You think of fixing after 1 year, and then after 1 month or within a week, you start seeing all those articles on different websites about how your company got hacked and how your customers got affected as well. Now, this is a thing where we need the education part, and education, as we know, it's sometimes highly impossible because we always think that a leader should be not bogging down. A leader must always say, I know how it works, I know how that works, and because they want to portray their image to the other people within the team or a company. Well, I'm this, I'm that. But I don't think so. That's a leader. That's a leadership trait. And if you have to be a leader, you have to be a good follower. I think Aristotle mentioned that. I'm not sure, but or Socrates. Okay, so it has improved over the last 10 years at least. What I'm seeing from 2000 to 2010, I see it as stone age of security. where there were many things
Okay.
and then you could hack and there were no cyber laws, where people were speaking about it. And now we see cybercrime happening and there are laws for that. And mostly the laws stop people. Doesn't mean that your software is secure enough. It just means they are scared. They're two different things now. I think there has to be a team which is working always on security on a project, day in and day out with a mindset. And most companies do not focus on mindset because their mind is fully occupied with many other things apart from software. So it could be personal issues, it could be professional issues, it could be even. I mean, no one speaks about mental health, right? And no one speaks about. People speak about diversity and inclusion because it's a money making business nowadays as well, where people trade, which is good, which is good. But I believe that for myself, that's something where I need to become a human being, and other things will be totally fine. And I need not read different books or anything. So it's very simple for me. So be a human being, and most of C-level management, whenever someone reports a bug, security bug, it could be a low-hanging fruit, discuss about it rather than saying, oh, it's a low priority. There is nothing called low priority. It's going to bite you back. And when it bites you back, it's very strong, very bad. So that's something as a high level. Okay, so I don't want to go much deeper around this subject. There are many things with the people problems, of course, and we cannot even. And sometimes we give up on leave that part because even if I report this bug, this person is going to reject it anyways. And that's the culture we are showcasing. And also we are making the subordinates that way by speaking this. We are actually hampering or affecting their career growth also when we say, well, just reject that. So I think this got to change, and I have been seeing certain changes in the last 10 years, and I really feel that, I mean, I have a hope now, so things will change. Before I used to not have a hope, nowadays I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've put it like bluntly and honestly on the table. And my next question would be on similar lines, but on a more broader level. So, can you help our audience understand the broader horizon of security? What all comprises security?
uh, it's just like stealing an object. It's stealing a chocolate from a friend without their consent.
Okay.
It can be hacking to me.
Okay.
I keep it very simple. I say it was not securely kept in the pocket. Someone stole it or someone manipulated you. If you give me one chocolate, I'll give you two. But then later they did not end up giving those two chocolates. So it starts from there because my childhood days were like that. So I was stealing a lot, and when I was stealing a lot, I was lying a lot as well, and I would make the other person feel that, oh, this person is a good person. Santosh is a good person. He wouldn't steal anything because I used to score good marks in my academics. Okay, in school, my mother had a great trust on me. Well, I hope she's. I mean, I'm glad that she's not on this call. Okay, I think she still doesn't know that how I'm used to manipulate. Now, that's social engineering to me, and I did not know it's called social engineering. I don't know what kind of genes I have in my body, but they are amazing. So what I feel, and I started doing all these things. I started stealing the question papers as well, lying to people, and stealing food as well, stealing chocolates from the shop, like shoplifting, what they call. And I started doing all this, and then I got my accomplices as well to be the part of this crime.
Okay.
What was happening? I mean, well, that was
Okay.
not a crime. That was more in curiosity to me. What happens? Because once I stole the question papers, I was like, I know all these things. Then I keep the question paper back, and then I get out of the school. That means there was a curiosity level rather than I cannot answer the questions in the exam. Now, that's where my security started from, by the way. Where and then it went on to web, and also we had Symbian phones as well, Nokia Symbian phones. Now people can think only smartphones can be hacked. Well, no, even the Symbian phones. And I use the social engineering. I call it like hacking your oxytocin and amygdala of your brain and how you behave, and then how you understand. It's just like what do you call halo effect of people. When you manipulate, you know that this person, if I smile at this person, that person is going to talk very well. So there's a lot of psychology and your physiological expressions to a person, how you can win a person, and then you will end up in actually cheating on that person. It could be stealing something, it could be doing something else, because that's the first level. Create the trust so well that person is not even going to say, well, you know what, Shweta did not commit this crime, okay, and this person is always going to defend you and building these things. And this is to me this is a bigger, broader aspect. And also many people reject social engineering bugs, right? Social engineering attacks based bugs. For instance, how many web applications always display console.log, just telling them, if someone opens it from the developer tools, more tools, and then they go to console, it says in a big font, do not copy and paste any JavaScript code from other websites, because it's dangerous. They could steal your data. How many of us are we doing that? Some of them do that. For instance, facebook.com, if you open the console, you will see that do not paste any JavaScript or something like that. It's dangerous. So how many of are we using the console.log? And some people say it's a low hanging fruit. We don't care about that. Well, I think you fix each and everything, and then you become stronger, the tiny bits. It's not just saying that it's let's reject that, because how many of you are going to reject so many bugs, and then finally you are saying we do security testing. That and any stealing, and it could be uh, the laws do not mean, insurance doesn't mean you're secure. One, for instance, you
Right.
can buy a health insurance or accident insurance, and when you have to claim for that accident insurance, you must not be drunk. If you're drunk, you are
Right.
not eligible for that claim. So it's the same thing even with the certifications, and you have insurances for cybersecurity, where people say, oh, we have got this
Okay.
cybersecurity. No, there are some things you have to do them, no matter whether you have that certification or that insurance. You must do that. And there has to be a team, and the leaders within that team or company matters more than the people who are security testers. Because what happens is, well, in my experience, working with many people across many different cultures, many countries, what I can say is you get demotivated. I mean, people like me get demotivated when someone says, like CEO or CDOs, or someone says, "Oh, that's nothing. Just ignore that. We are not fixing that." And I'm so happy that, okay, we need to fix this. And they said that we don't have time, budget, or anything. And sometimes I say, well, I can do that. Okay, this is just a tiny piece of code. All right. Okay, I will commit to the your GitHub, and then you can merge it. Then you can set it to master, whatever, all that those GitHub things. But most people, they have that ego where they feel that if I allow this person by saying yes, we'll fix this. Tomorrow, this person may replace me. Okay, but that's not the way the leaders got to think. So the horizon, we need passionate hackers. We need people. I'm not saying that we need criminals, okay? People who can think criminals. I mean, criminal activity.
think like criminals. Yeah.
And then you need to have both the black hat mindset and the white hat mindset as well. And main, it's a white hat mindset. But we need to think like a black hat hackers because that's what we are fighting. Those are the people we are fighting. And if we go get trained from
Agreed.
someone, hey, can we get OWASP top 10 attacks training? Then it becomes a big problem because they are going to give only instructions. And real hackers, they never went for the trainings. Real hackers never went for the trainings. And if you're relying on the tools, okay, then ask this question to yourself. Well, we use that tool, still we got hacked, which means there is something different or unique about those black hat hackers, which we white hat hackers do not have or possess those skill set. Now that's a big problem, and many people don't give what do you call importance to the mindset of a hacker. They only say, "I need to get a good report. We need to write to customers. We are certified." That's not going to live a certain.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, that's some real talk
mhm,
happening there. And but let's say that we have young guns joining the
mhm.
industry, and how would not just young guns but anyone who is experienced like me, how can we kickstart our journey with security and testing related to that? We'll have to start somewhere.
Right. So I've been getting some questions in the last few years. I mean, not last few years. I think since I started my career, uh, that how can we start security testing? And
Right.
I don't want to give many inputs. That's a learning for myself. That I used to confuse people is what I feel.
Okay.
Okay, so where I say, go
Okay.
here, do
Okay.
this, do that, and there are like 20 things that you need to do. And the moment a person hears these things, the person is going to say, you know what? I'm scared. I'm tired of all these things. There's so many things, right? So I want to say only two things here. Okay. One is if you are like a criminal thinking, right? Okay, not like real criminal, but thinking like criminal, think those things, but do not commit a crime. Okay. Do not commit a crime, but you
Okay.
can think. And if you want to be a good person, it's really hard sometimes to be good in when you are in hacking profession because you got to think so many evil things. So if you are a person who is like, okay, no, I need to think good because my parents taught me that. Well, even my parents taught me that, but I did not follow anything whatever they said. Okay, till date I never followed whatever they used to say, and thanks to myself for that and my guardian angels. All right, so what I think is they can start from OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project. There is a cheat sheet series.
Okay.
Okay. Cheat sheet series. And then they can, cheat sheets are like, if you want to get into SQL injection, if you want to do cross site scripting, uh, I think, or the content injection, right, which is the HTML injection attacks, or your CSRF, cross-site request forgery attacks, and all these. There are many attacks. You can start with the OWASP, and don't think about, oh, there is so much to know. Well, of course, until the end, there is always so much to know. But we got to start somewhere, and I think OWASP can be a great starting point for people, and just read it even if you do not understand. And whatever you don't understand,
Okay.
go and read the blogs by Troy Hunt or Jim Manico, or there's many security specialists as well. You can go and read what they're saying, or even watch the videos as well. But start from the OWASP. Do other things in parallel, like watching the videos, reading blogs and everything, and digging down deeper to understand a specific thing, whatever you see on the OWASP website. So it says one line, you don't know what that word means. And then go and read about that word by searching on your search engine providers. And then you will get a link. And then read about that. And then come back to OWASP. Start with that, is what I would tell. And watch the movies in your free time, like Mr. Robot. Okay. I feel like my brain functions like Mr. Robot. All right. Uh, there
Okay.
was because speaking to yourself, what's happening, and when you click on that submit button, what's really happening? What's happening in the wire? What are those bits? And how much of bytes, what's happening in the wire and wireless signals. There's so much to know. And what's happening in data link layer, because we are only seeing the presentation layer, but there's so many things that's happening in abstraction behind the scenes, and most of us do not pay attention to them. You know why? Okay, I need to say this, because we are suffering in our lives. The reason is people are suffering from different things. That's why self-care, mental health matters a lot, because finally your brain is going to decide what you are going to do with the testing or security in your application, because you may be smiling, you may be charming, but there's a big devil, huge devil here, and that's not something that people can see unless a person talks. So there are a lot of things which happen in abstraction as well. So we got to speak openly with the team members. Why are you saying whatever you are saying? It's a low hanging fruit, but why? Well, in the password field, many people say, well, you are asking only for 8 characters password, right? Oh, well, it's not a banking application. Well, I hear this a lot. It's not a
Hmm.
banking application. It's okay. Look at the discrimination here. We discriminate even here. Well, those people matter. You don't matter. Okay. And then we go to, but we talk to people in a way that, well, discrimination is not good. What we are trying to do here is categorize people without thinking that they are users of other application as well. Now, if you force people to use 6 characters password, and then there is someone evil in your company, that person is going to look into all those passwords, and most of them, based on my experience, they keep the same password always. It always ends with the 123. I don't know why. And 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 before that, there's an at the rate symbol, because it's easier. Because there's a finger. You see how the brain connects to the hand. It's just two. Okay, it's at the rate symbol and 123, because it's very easy and quick. You know why that's happening? Because the companies or someone is they are creating a lot of accounts, and people get tired. Oh, let it be same password, it's easy one, I'll share it with them. I think that's a low hanging fruit, and some people may suffer that what they're doing today. If we do not grow or practice that seriousness in terms of how we do things well, I think we are going to pay back really badly, is what I think. So education is very important. That's one of the reasons I even speak to the college kids and school kids as well, where I go and I speak about security part. This is not a commercial one for the schools and everything. I go there and I talk, because they need it much more. And there's so many crimes happening in today's world, and many people. I mean, not every case is picked by the whatever departments, right? Unless your case is like a high profile, they pick it,
Agreed.
and no
Agreed.
one knows what kind of noise is happening. And there are so many cases in day-to-day lives which doesn't even come to the light. And all these cases, well, someone's murder happens, someone is kidnapped. Now this kidnapping can be connected to the software, that data, phone number, and everything about a family or their health report, or they were all HIPAA compliance. Oh well, God bless HIPAA compliance and all these certifications. That's not security to me. Compliance is different, security is different. So HIPAA compliance is amazing, but if you do not do security, don't blame HIPAA compliance. Compliance work in a different way, and your certifications work in a different way. You have to test the security part without having the desire to only have certification. You need to have a great team in security. You need to have a certification which is for the business. That's what I think. So OWASP is the starting point. Open Web Application Project, just add .org or .com, I don't remember. So it's just like a trial and error method, or a search on Google, click on the first link. I always enter the full URLs because it helps me remember well. So OWASP and then Mr. Robot. Start from there. Only two things. I won't tell you more things, more movies, because start from OWASP, number one. Start from Mr. Robot, and then understand what the hell is happening and how people think. Yeah.
I like how you've clubbed both the technology aspect and the psychology behind security aspect. So I would say people would have to start first by unleashing the Voldemort inside them, right, and then move to OWASP and all. But thank you for stressing on the psychology part, which is extremely important, is what I'm feeling now. More than just, understanding what is pen testing and this cross-site scripting. Thank you. I think that was a brilliant point,
Thank
Santhosh. And so moving on to the next question, we spoke of banking and you gave real life example of how kidnapping could be related to it. So do all industries need digital security? How and which industries are the most vulnerable to security?
Right. Okay. Uh, Wherever there is more gold, those industries are vulnerable. One. So if they have a lot of diamond and they are like, people know about that. For instance, it could be banks. It could be insurance companies or someone's funds inside some account or some escrow accounts, what people have. And why people are hacking is one for money, and other things include like a grudge. I don't like this person. I want to hack this person's company. That can be thing, and you will never get to know when, not never get to know with the investigation. Probably or possibly, sorry, probably and possibly, you can get to know who is trying to hack you. But your investigation costs after the hack are going to be too high. And mostly your admin section, when you create your web applications, you just say slash admin. Why? Don't even say slash admin. It's so easy. You never store a gold in a box and have a sticker on that saying gold and diamonds. It's so easier. So people just go administrator or admin or pass WD. So there is a list of things which you can brute force your URL address path, and you can get all these details. So yeah, banks. Okay, now just because banks, most of them are hacking banks where there's money, or even email addresses accounts. So they do the harvesting on some websites. They hack the database and say, we have got a fresh email database. Can someone buy it? Right? Now we are not thinking about which industries here. Now I don't want to say this is a banking industry. That's why we need to. This is not a bank. This is a e-commerce. We don't care. Well, I must tell you that even in e-commerce, I had ordered some of the things for free. And now that was through the API security. Okay. Now you see how APIs are important on
Okay.
different industries as well. Now this company, if that company is big, they're making a lot of money. And as a black hat hacker, no, I'm not. I'm just wearing a hat of hat hacker now. As an example, so what I would do is I would choose an application which has been existing for many years now, and they're making good business. So I will go on sites like
Okay.
yourstory.com or look their web presence and read the articles. Somebody is happy saying that, well, we made millions of dollars, okay, in our 2022. And then I'm like, oh, wow, this is a good candidate for hacking if there is a security bug. You know why? Because their sales, right, are always like this. Now, if there's a startup and I hacked there, they're like, we sold the TV, but we did not even get 100 Indian rupees. How is this?
They would be
Exactly.
alarmed.
So when hackers hack, they choose the application on most many things. For instance, hospitals. I'm not sure how hospitals are. They are, I mean, rest in peace, all this HIPAA compliance and PHI, Patient Health Information Act, because many people are great in saying, well, I'm a HIPAA compliance, I need a certification. No, there could be, well, I have experienced it firsthand, where most of the biggest hospitals, they use a vendor. Okay, let's say Shweta is a vendor
Okay.
for all these healthcare companies. All right, so you can have hospital A, hospital B, hospital C in India. Okay, so what Shweta does is Shweta goes and takes services from this vendor and then gets her hospital website with the admin panel as well. Okay, so there is a contact form as well if the patients are writing to the hospital, appointment scheduling, and all those features. Now, the problem is this: Shweta goes and tells to 100 other friends because she has a good network in hospitals, being a doctor. So she speaks about these things to Santhosh, and well, Santhosh is also running a hospital business now. And Santhosh is like, "Oh, can you give the contact of that hospital? I mean, vendor?" All right, I talked to them, and those people, they just change the UI, right? Okay, all your backend is going the server side
Right.
code. They always keep it same on all these vendors, most vendors, be it in transport, be it in hospital, hospitality, or any industry. Now, that's a big problem to me because I found a security bug in one of the hospitals, and that one, what I did
Okay.
was go to the vendor's company website, and they said proudly, our great customers. Okay. So I went to every hospital and used the same attack. Wow. It worked everywhere. And I got access to all the data, right? So you see, sometimes a famous person is not a famous person until you work with that person and you know that person deeper. It's same with the vendor. So how much do you know about this vendor is the question. So they have to do the security test before even choosing the vendor is what I feel. What kind of cases they have and how is the team? What's the team's culture? How they think as well. It's not just what's the team culture, how they think. How are they thinking personally as well? Because that's going to bite very badly after several months or years if you don't care about what's happening with the employees' personal life. Because we say that, oh, well, we keep it separate. No, you can't. You can't. Show me one person who doesn't get his brain used for unnecessary things in a day when that person is at work. And this makes us human. Well, get the AI robots for working. Well, with the humans itself, we are in such a big shit. Okay. Now, understand if you get the AI robot, you know what? Sometimes we have to become humble and say where we need to stop. And if we don't stop with,
Okay.
I'm especially focusing on how people are going through the robotic culture. I think that can maybe the end of our next generations. But people can say, well, I'm happy. I don't die because I will die in next 30 or 40 years. There's an air show happening. That's why the airplane sound. All right. So
Okay.
people need to really make this word personal security. Only then we can. In a specific communities as well, like a Gurkha, right? Like a Gurkha, okay, this person is a vigilant about what's happening in the surroundings. So they go all night, and every today I go, tomorrow someone else goes from the community, and they can start whistle blowing or all those things. So we care of our community, and I don't see it in software community. I don't see that feeling that we got to feel for the other person. until and unless something happens to us personally or our family members, we will never become secure.
Right.
But can we start doing it upfront so that we need not see those people as well, and we are a community itself. Yeah. Okay, that was the wrong answer. Yes. Sorry.
So, no, no problem, no problem. And since the world is now connected to each other via web, and web has brought in a lot of convenience in everyone's life, including me, right? So, what would be the security testing strategy for web
All
applications?
right. This is again. I'll go back to OWASP for a web application. That's a great starting
Okay.
point, but it doesn't end there. So to start off, you can go to OWASP and web applications. So follow your OWASP top 10 tags, start from there. If you are testing an application, start from the OWASP top 10 attacks. When I say top 10, it doesn't mean that it doesn't change. So every year it changes, or whenever there is a necessity. And these top 10 are chosen based on survey of how many attacks are happening in the globe, around the globe. And then there is sensitive information disclosure. Oh, this becomes top one now because most of the applications are hacked through sensitive information disclosure, or SQL injection can become top. Now it's not a top one attack in OWASP SQL injection because we are using a lot of different frameworks and also like query parameterization, which is built in, so which will mitigate the SQL injection attack itself. So that has been pushed down a bit. Now, so this is how the top 10 works. So a person who says, I did a top
Okay.
10 attacks and we are good, no, it's a good starting point. It doesn't mean it's ending there.
Okay.
And I would like companies to use ASVS 4.0, application security verification standard. People who are complaining, I don't know what generally people call the test case, right? Or a test idea.
Yeah.
So, what test idea should I have? Well, go and look into the documentation, which is ASVS space 4.0. It's by on OWASP. I think Andrew worked on that. I'm not sure about the name. There were many contributors as well. It's a big PDF document, which is amazing. People can kickstart their testing from there, and not necessarily they say, "Well, I'm not a security tester." Well, mindset. Apply this and know how things work. Go watch videos. Go look into documentation, and how many people read documentation is the question. World Wide Web Consortium, there are so many RFCs, documentation, and seldom people don't read them. They think only technical specification document or requirement document in a company is a requirement document, nothing else. No, that's like our grandfather, grandfather, W3C, RFC documentations. This is like kids, okay? So you should not discriminate based on your company's requirement. For instance, email address. I'm sorry, I'll tell this, okay? Email address field. Some people allow only 30 characters, 30. Why? Now there's some developer wrote that as max length equals to 50. Why? It's not a magic number. Why are we giving 50? I have email address that's more than 100 characters because World Wide Web Consortium says it can have that. Now, if we are
Okay.
violating the compliance of W3C web laws, we're discriminating the web. So we don't do that because everyone is easy, because there are too many problems and too less time. So we said that that's okay, that's cool. Well, I'm getting my paycheck. I'm done. And it's, well, I will get a different job in a different company. There's not necessarily one company, but we have a bigger responsibility towards the people. We are not working for the company, we're working for our human species, is what I see. Not specific or any company, because all our softwares are used by someone else. Yeah, okay, I went too deep in this. Yeah. So what was your question? Okay, that was what would be the security. Okay, there's something else. Security.
Oh, no, no, no. It was for the, the security testing strategy for web
Right. OWASP
apps.
top 10, get from there, and do not say no to any security tester whenever the person with the glowing eyes comes to you and says, I found this is a problem. Speak to that person and understand why that person is having a glowing effect in their eyes. Okay. So that can be
Okay.
a good starting point. OWASP, start from there and watch a lot of different movies. And there are many movies in different languages as well. See what's happening. Think wires, think data, what's happening with it. Yeah.
Right. And with the world completely dependent on mobile now, how does the security testing strategy differ for mobile apps?
Mobile apps, it doesn't change much, is what I feel in most of the things. Unless you're performing
Hmm.
some test which is related to the vendor, which could be Apple or which could be the processor, okay, or which could be
Hmm.
the something that relies on Android operating system or iOS. There are some tests with that, but some of the attacks you are going to use API endpoints, so there are certain attacks which you categorize them as well. I do it for web application as well. And sometimes people have different API endpoints for every platform, like Android, iOS, or your web application or your Internet of Things. Now, APIs are a great boon to what we do. They can be great bane as well if you don't do it well. All right,
Hmm.
no matter whatever it is, you have all the ingredients of food for preparing the food, but depends on how you prepare it. Correct. So it could be a boon or a bane. That's what I think with the web applications and mobile apps. You share the API endpoints. I think the mobile top 10 attacks, which are there. There is also insufficient cryptography. So there could be your server side controls, which is again with a web application. And then there could be your data storage, how you are doing your data storage. And these are mobile top 10 attacks. They also have mobile top 10 attacks on WASP guide, which is in 2016. That's the latest one. And before that, it was 2014. I think so. I'm not sure, but you can check. Okay. For the version. So mobile hacking, well, I can think about this. There are some applications where I can install in someone's phone. It gets installed beneath the kernel. So you cannot under even if you reinstall the operating system on Android, someone is going to get your coordinates. Someone is tracking you. Because you gave your Android phone to someone for 5 minutes to play a game, that person installed a malware inside your Android. However, with the iPhone or the iOS, it doesn't mean it cannot have virus. Okay, that's an old talk. Mac as well, they can
Okay.
have. It just means there is no bigger market for Mac from the hackers. I mean, for the hackers, they see that Windows is used by so many. How many people buy Mac? Your neighbors have Windows operating system. They don't buy Mac. They don't keep on going and buying Macs because that's unique now. And Windows, anyone can have it. And when people have that, they're hacking Windows. They're not hacking Mac. The group of hackers, it just means there's a monopoly. Okay, it just means more hackers want data from Windows operating system because their efforts will be paid off. Mac, they're like a gated community, like Prestige or Godrej Apartments or this gated community. Well, I think Prestige and Godrej Apartment need to give some money to me. I did advertisement for them. So, so that's a gated community where people don't come in, and there is a security guard. So Apple is mostly like that. Android is like free. All right. So you can just get out of your home. You can see everyone and anyone. With the apartments, what they have, there is a security guard. Okay, we have some checks in place. So you can even walk within midnight, before midnight, after midnight, whenever you want. There is security. So iOS is like that. It doesn't mean Android is better or iOS is better. So let's stop fighting. I see these things, okay, whenever it's happening within among the friends, sitting in a cafe. Oh, you know what? Stop it, okay? So think about there is more to it because you both of you are not same people. So why are you even fighting? Well, you wouldn't even fight for your partner, boyfriend, or girlfriend, right? So why are you fighting for a phone? You don't say, "Well, you got your girlfriend." No, 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 no. I also want her. No, you don't say that. Okay. So it's different, and people need to connect it back to the human psyche of why we use whatever we use, or else there won't be Android phones, right? So it's for a different market and different people. And some people may love Android, some people may love iOS, some people may love Symbian phones just because their battery is really longer. Okay, because there's so many resources, some smartphones. So top 10 mobile risks on OWASP can be the same thing to start off with. There are different ways how you gain access to a database or SQLite in mobile apps. SQLite database, I need to get
Okay.
this. If it's a for APK file, Android package file, so what do I need to say? Can I decipher this? Can I decompile this? Well, you can decompile, and that's why you use ProGuard sometimes. People use class master as well. KLASS, a space master. Now, class master is a commercial one, and then ProGuard comes with Android, where it obfuscates your code because some part of the code in Android you can get the smally files, which are like it takes less time to reproduce the same app and go to the market before a company. So if you thought about a specific idea for a mobile app before 1 year, well, even after thinking about publishing in next month, I will publish the same app as you, and you will be the second one to publish, even though you thought of the idea 1 year back. So you see how software can even lead to other things as well, and people don't pay attention to these things. Oh
Right.
well, every APK file works the same way. No, it doesn't. It's just your knowledge about that specific thing, and you're not questioning your knowledge by asking, what do I don't know? And what do I need to know? So mobile risks as well, it's APIs, and APIs are the places where there are a lot of deeper security bugs, monsters. You can do anything. Well, you can increase your bank account money as well. Well, those are the APIs. Everything works in the API, and most people do not even look into the network tab and what's happening with that request. And many people open the developer tools only for Selenium or some other tool because they have been instructed to do that. It's not curiosity part. They have been instructed. They always go to could be elements tab and find forward slash. Okay, it gives me that element expert, and I will use some other tool. It gives it easier. Now I don't like easy life because that when my time comes, I cannot fight it. So I'm preparing myself to fight those unknown things of my life. Whenever I face them, I have to fight them. If I take an easy route, I don't think so. Well, you can use the tools. There are so many companies, there are so many people. Of course, we need to use the tools, they will say. Well, you can use the tool, but if you are intrinsically motivated person, tester, and your security testing, well, I never separated testing and security. It's the same thing for me. So if you are that person, then you got to invest in continuous education, not consumer electronics. So which is CE, right? Consumer electronics. But I see it as continuous education, what we need to do, apart from integration, deployment, and all these things. We need to do those things as well, where I can teach someone else as well. I can help someone because that's about the next generation. We all are working for the next generations, not for ourselves. I'll tell you. Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, that's about the mobile risk. There are many risks, and there has to be starting point. Again, I come back to the OWASP. Yeah, starting point.
And you spoke about tools. So are you completely against tools, or do you have any preferred tools? And if you
Right.
do, what are your recommended tools to perform
I don't
security?
want to jump from this building if I'm against the tools. No, they are amazing, but you need to understand a tool. I'm not sure who said this, but I will tell the quote. A fool with a tool is still a fool. Marshall McLuhan or Grady
Ag-
Booch. I'm not sure. They're two different people. Not sure. Forgive me. You give a tool. I mean, tools are amazing, but you need to understand how I need to use this tool. Now, tools are important in a battle or a war. You need to understand the techniques of using that tool. It's not that, oh, this tool does this. No, it does a lot of things. That has to come from your brain. How I can use the same tool? Well, you can use a pen to murder someone, choke that nib, put in the neck. Okay, sorry. Okay, so that can happen as well. And so you can use Postman, you can use this, you can use Burp Suite for hacking. Well, you asked that question, right? What tools? Burp Suite can be used. I use the advanced version. In the free version, it's less speed because they intentionally reduce the speed of your brute forcing or sending the request. And with the commercial version, you get a lot of plugins as well, just like Google Chrome extensions. Uh, and then
okay.
I can, that's called as a B App Store, like Burp App Store. So I can use Burp, this one as well. And then some people use distros, distributions like Kali Linux, KALI, with a lot
Right.
of tools and everything. It's amazing. Now, these distributions just mean that amalgamation of everything or taking everything, all the tools, for instance, from the GitHub, I take all the tools. Well, it doesn't matter to me whether you use Kali or not in specific context. I can use the GitHub utilities. So instead of individual utilities, you have everything in one operating system, which is built on Linux, I guess. Kali Linux. Oh, of course, Kali Linux, right? I'm sorry. So Kali Linux, and then you get all information gathering to do brute force, to do network interception. You can look into your server side responses and everything, whatever these tools do. But tools help with making things faster. It's just like my vehicle, it goes faster compared to that. So that's why I use tools, and it can help me achieve a test idea result quicker because that's what tools do. For instance, you have a different RAM, 64 GB RAM or 98 GB RAM. Then I can probably what do you call them? Decrypt all those hashes, or not decrypt, or else it is dehash. There's nothing called as dehash. The hash is the long strings which we use in our past. There's
Right.
nothing called dehash, MD5, MD3, the old ones, and there's Argon as well. There are many other frameworks where it adds. It takes your password, then it adds a lot of strings to it. Just think of it as instead of 10 characters, it's making it as 100 characters long. So hash is being compared there. So you can hack the database, and there is one more thing which I would like to say. I think it's called as SQL cat. SQL cat, I guess, to dehash your hashes once you gain access to it. So in that specific tool, what you do is for Apple, there's a specific string for this hash. Orange, again, one more hash. So what you do is with this tool, you create the hashes from the names of all the fruits. And then it compares the hash with that hacked hash. Oh, this hash is matching. So you compare the hashes. You don't compare the passwords here. You generate the hash first in locally, and then
Understood.
whatever was created locally, you compare it with the hacked database. Yeah. Okay. That's one tool. I think that people can start with Burp Suite. There are many things. Oh, I need to tell this. OSINTframework.com. Anyone can go there. I don't want to individually name every tool, go to osintframework.com. That's for information gathering before you want to hack someone or something, or which could be application as well.
Oh,
Open source intelligence. That's what OSINT stands for. OSINT. OSINTframework.com. Yeah.
o- okay. That's helpful. And I know you've been talking about why people should take security seriously. Why should they consider it seriously? But if I ask you to give me top three reasons why companies should take security and cyber security seriously, what would be the top three reasons?
Top three reasons. Well, if you don't want to be sued by someone, take it seriously. Uh, it's just like asking why should someone care for their health seriously. So it's something in this century we need to. We must. It's not like we have a choice. It's not an option, right? And also, it helps you to grow in your business. Helps win the customers' trust, and they will basically tie up with you because you have, and also when you are getting acquired, it helps. Okay, if you need that, and because the other company who wants to acquire you will ask for what did you test. Okay, and certificates are not just sufficient when someone is acquiring you. Okay, so all your team members who are certification based, they'll be out from that assignment. I worked for one of the companies like this where I was hired to really get a good security posture in a less time, where I was assessing their security of their application before they got acquired by some other company, because they were going to test it for security before they were acquiring your application. So and finally, good news, they acquired. Cool. All right. So that's my accomplishment. When certain things, I'm here, okay, I'm doing it, and then it really happens, and that's my cloud nine. And also, what I think is we need to care. I know we are in a Kali Yuga. Okay, I understand that's a Sanskrit word. Okay, Kali Yuga means we have a different era of people. There is a lot of cheating, killings, war, even now. So I think we need to care for our species, and of course there will be a revolution again, is what I feel in future. It's a full thing, right? It's full planet. It's not only a specific country or a border. I think that's where Indian freedom fighters also started with that revolution. They don't wanted only freedom for India; they wanted freedom for the whole globe. But it started from India, so that's how. But I won't get into that now. Sorry. Yeah.
And so this would be my last question, Santosh.
Yay! I'm
Okay.
tired as well. I'm sweating. Yeah.
What's the current state of cybersecurity?
Okay, current state. Well, I don't want to be sounded as pessimist here. Well, people in the industry call me pessimist. Well, you don't see the good things happening around you. Okay, I see. I see a lot of changes from 2000 to 2010. There was something else that was like a stone age for me, cybersecurity. And then 2010 to 2023, people are really worrying about that. You know why? Because other people are going to question them. There's a bit of education as well that has been happening, but there is a lot of housekeeping which has to be done still, is what I feel. The whole
Okay.
WordPress, I
Okay.
think it's more than 50% of the websites on the web itself uses WordPress, the content management system, and your whole web is on WordPress. And some of the applications like hospitals, I've seen in different countries as well. In Europe, in India, in America as well, they use WordPress. You don't use WordPress for hospitals. No, healthcare applications never use this thing WordPress. Okay, so it was not intended for that. It was only for blogging purpose. when it started. Then people started, it got to version 2.0, and then people started building the website for companies, applications, using plugins of your WordPress. Never do that. And what I have seen, based on my gut feel, we need to have the laws, at least in India. So they are passing the laws of the data, how your data is secure. And it should not be really bad for me to call some company and say, hey, look, just delete my data. It should not be so bad. Well, that person is going to say, oh, well, we will delete your data. Thank you, sir. No, they won't here. That's what I feel. I have seen the examples. They won't delete the data. Most people, based on my experience, current state of cybersecurity, yeah, storage, and now we are good. We need to become better. That's what I would say. Last 10 years, things have worked better, and we need to become much more better. And this is a game which is continuous activity, which keeps going on. The hackers will come here, then you build something. Then hackers will sit here, then again you build a wall. So it's a constant activity that is going to happen, just like breathing. We breathe. The moment we stop, there's no breathing. So if the software industry has to work, there will be always hackers. It's like breathing. The moment there are no hackers, there won't be any hacking community, black hat hackers, and there won't be any life on this planet. The planet is gone. Yeah.
Okay. So Santhosh says that the situation has got better since 10 years, but we need to be better. And how can we be better? By staying ahead of the hackers and not following the hackers. With that, we've come to the end of this season of QA Q&A, and I would like to thank everybody for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our discussion about security, cybersecurity, and not just about testing aspects of it. There was so much more beyond than that. We are also grateful to Santhosh for sharing their expertise and insights with us. And I'm sure you took away a lot of valuable information from this episode. We appreciate your support and feedback. If you have any questions, don't forget to comment below this video, and I'm sure we can get Santhosh answer most of them, if not all. For more QA content, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We look forward to hearing from you and bringing you more engaging content on quality and testing in general. Until then, it's me, your host, Shweta, signing off for this season. See you soon. Bye.